Oh man.
Just waiting to go live. I should already be live. All right, we are live. We are live, people. How's my audio sound?
Good.
All right, sweet. We are live, people. It is 11 p.m. Central Time here in San Antonio. We're late, but never fear. What? What the hell? Are you kidding me? Oh,
What's
god
going
damn it.
on?
Okay, so I had the stream saved. Okay, never mind. It says excellent. Never mind. Never mind. It said couldn't find. Now it says excellent. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. Welcome, people. Welcome to the AEW All Out 2024 post show. All Out just ended, and now we're here to cover it. Welcome to the show, people. This is the experience. I am Drew, and with me, as always,
Justin from Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com.
all right. How are you on this fine September evening here in San Antonio, sir?
Good. It's 77 degrees outside. That's fucking amazing. So I love that. It's a little windy out there. Got a little wind. So enjoying this early fall weather. Great day at the shop. Great pay-per-view tonight. So we're ready to talk about it.
Yes, sir. All right. So, as you know, it was AEW All Out 2024, September 7th, from Hoffman Estates, Illinois, in the Now Arena. Were there any pre-show matches?
There was 4 of them. I didn't get to catch any because I left the shop a little bit before 6 o'clock, and I got home right at the very end of the 3-way trios match. I didn't get to see nothing there. So, but yeah. So I just was able to watch the main card, all matches in full. So
Right. I did not watch the pre-show. I was kind of taking care of something before the show itself started.
yeah,
So I just literally started watching right when the show itself started, like I mentioned. But we got a nice little full chat room here in Discord. What's up, people?
Yep.
Alon's 1982, Nemeth fan, Scott, Frank's 92, Wizzy, BDJ, Crizzle Lizard, Zanpire, Dave Time, SDM, Mo. What is going on, people? And what's going on to the people in the YouTube chat? So, anyway, so let's get this shit started. Which we'll try not to be here past midnight, which I have a feeling we shall, but the show shall continue. AW All Out first match of the night. MJ.
Before we begin here with going match by match, just overall, what did you think about? Let's just give our thoughts about the card overall, and talk about a couple of things before we just going match by match. I think people really want to hear our thoughts about the main event, obviously, and some other things. What were your thoughts about the show overall tonight?
I'm not even trying to be a smartass when I say this. It's definitely a memorable show.
Okay.
I will say that it was definitely memorable. Um, there's a possibility I might have slightly enjoyed it a little bit more than All In. I'll just leave it like that without getting into spoilers, but it seems weird saying spoilers talking about a wrestling show. But um, yeah, I'll say it was definitely one to remember.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think?
I think this was better than All In. Not think I'm very confident it's better than All In. I'm probably gonna say this. It's the year between this or Revolution, but this could be pay-per-view of the year for AEW for me. I'm in the moment, obviously, but there was a lot of great matches on the card tonight, and several matches that had a lot of heat, and there was a couple matches that overachieved too as well. Will Nightingale and Chris Statlander. I thought that was an excellent women's match. And after them following up for Will Ospreay and Pac, I thought that was an excellent women's match. That was gonna get lost in the shuffle after the angle that was for the world title match, the main event, Impact versus Will Ospreay.
Mhm.
But there were some downers on this card tonight. It seemed like to me is that if your match had a story and heat going into it, with the exception of Pac and Will Ospreay, because they were gonna tear down the house regardless. Like if your match had heat, it seemed like that was the matches that got a little bit more favorability within the community, at least from what I've been seeing so far. So, but this very well could be pay per view of the year for AEW for me. Maybe even pay per view of the year. Possibly, it's up there. WrestleMania, night 2 is gonna be very fucking hard to surpass, but this was a great show tonight.
Alrighty. So the first match of the night, you had MJF versus Daniel Garcia. At just to kind of rewind the clocks back at All In, Daniel Garcia came out to cost MJF his match. Also, his American title against Will Ospreay. So that leads into this. Also, MJF, when he became a heel again, he beat up Daniel Garcia and pile drived him, tried to end his career. Yada yada yada. The match starts. MJF comes to the ring. There's a giant banner behind him. What did it say? You're welcome. I forgot.
I believe so. Yes.
Right. He gets on his knees and bows in front of the crowd. Does MJF shtick. Daniel Garcia comes out and attacks MJF from behind, which I liked because it made sense because it's supposed to be a grudge match. Daniel Garcia is supposed to be pissed off at MJF for almost ruining it or almost ending his career. So it wouldn't have made sense if it was just like it started with like a tie up or whatever.
Right.
Also, just another thing, and this is gonna be Drew hates AEW bit whatever. Why were there 4 announcers? I don't get it. I
I
know.
didn't really understand. I was thinking that too as well. You had Daddy Magic there. I guess he added to the match because he was obviously he's friends with Daniel Garcia, whatever, right? Yeah, 4's too many though. 3's too many, but when the main event came along and when the some of the other matches, I didn't really notice it towards the end, but it didn't really seem like they were really stepping on each other's toes too much. So, is what it is though. But I'm really well with only 2 people on commentary.
Agreed. Yeah, this I was kind of thrown off that this was the opener of the match, but it made sense. Just to kind of get the crowd,
I
hyped
mean,
up.
judging how the card went, I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
Opening up, yeah.
I'm fine with this match opening because
Yeah.
it was of everything that's been going on in this show, and we will talk about it. Obviously, this is probably the closest thing to resemble I would say, a basic wrestling match.
True. Yeah.
And again, if you watch the show, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Granted, there was some modern wrestling tropes in this match, like doing a pile driver and kicking out and blah blah blah. But I like the match. I like the opener. MJF is MJF. He's gonna do MJF things. Daniel Garcia, I don't mind. I think if you put him in the ring against somebody that knows what to do, yeah, if you guide him, you'll see good things happen out of him. And I thought he did a good job in this match. He's wearing like the little bandana bandage, shtick over his face, to cover the gash that MJF, left for him. Let's see. There's a bit in the match where MJF takes off the bandage and starts biting his head, which that happens again later in the night, which we'll get to that. And just I wrote a whole page for this match. Which I don't think I'm going to go through every single thing on my notes, but there was a bit where they trade German suplexes, submissions. Garcia goes for a sharpshooter, then goes for a guillotine, but let's see. Oh yeah, he stops the referee from dropping MJF's arm because I guess he wants to, do the same thing to him with what MJF did to him. Goes for a pile driver. MJF kicks out of it. Remember when a pile driver was a finisher? That's what I put in my notes. Nitpicking. Goes for a pile driver off.
In 1988.
Exactly. Goes for a pile driver off the top rope. MJF bites him. Low blows while the referee isn't looking. Does a jackknife pin on Garcia. Wins the match. Johnny Gargano was in this match.
Gargano, yeah. Well, actually, I'm actually wearing their their NXT Takeover shirt from their like fourth underwhelming match, and I bought the fucking shirt like an idiot. It was a cool shirt though. But anyway, continue.
Coincidentally, I'm wearing the shirt that I got for free from you. The wrestling is real, people are fake. So
There you go.
showing some love to Spinebuster Tees, people. Spinebustertees.com. Yeah, Jackknife pin and pins Garcia for the win. After the match, MJF attempts to shake Garcia's hand, goes for a kick in the balls. Garcia blocks it, kicks him in the balls, pile drives MJF off the top rope. And MJF's career is over. Not really. But that was the match. Again, good match, good way to start the show. I don't know, what were your thoughts?
Good match. I like Dan Garcia. Love MJF. It was a good match. It had heat going into the match. Have nothing against the match whatsoever. Here's my question that no one really asked themselves. Oh, it was a great match. Oh my God. They had a great match with each other. So first and foremost, I thought Dan Garcia was going to win, but, he ended up, getting his heat back, right? But here's the question everyone should be asking themselves. Number one, what's the follow-up to this?
Mm-hmm.
Is TK gonna start booking him like a main eventer now because he took out MJF? We'll see. I don't think so. And also number two, again, I like Danny Garcia. Do you believe him in this role against MJF? I certainly do not.
Nope.
Not in a role for like being, going up against one of the top guys, the top guy in your company, and make it believable. Dan Garcia can wrestle. I think he's a great wrestler, actually. However, he doesn't have charisma, doesn't really have much of a character. Even the dancing and stuff, that wasn't a character, that was just a gimmick. Gimmick doesn't really mean a character. But he stopped doing it and he's making it more serious. I like his fire. I like that AEW is trying something different with different people to see if they get over. Maybe he's not there yet, but as of right now, I just don't believe him in this role. And until I see something that's more believable, I'm gonna keep repeating this. Because if you're going up against MJF, essentially is TK gonna see him as world championship material? I don't
No.
see that.
No.
Do you see Danny Garcia being a TNT champion? Well, possibly, right? A possibility. You know what I mean? But that's probably just it. And he hasn't really officially re-signed with AEW as of yet, but it seems like he's gonna be staying now because he got put over tonight pretty much with MJF taking him out. So again, not taking anything away from the match. Match was really good. I really liked the opener. But what's the follow-up? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. If there's going to be no follow-up to this, that makes sense. That's going to put Danny Garcia to that next level. Then I can give two fucks about this match at the end of the day. Again, not taking anything away from the guys in the ring, but again, what are we going to see on Wednesday? What are we going to see on Saturday? How is this going to get Danny Garcia to the next level? I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it I'm going to give it 1 week. Wednesday, Saturday, even though I don't watch Collision, but I'll catch highlights if there's something that's of interest. Wednesday, Saturday, if nothing comes out of this, sorry, I don't give a fuck. You see what happened with Mariah May? She beat Toni Storm. Great feud, great story, right? Was Mariah May done since then? Absolutely fucking nothing. Tony Khan's about moments and not follow-ups. It's in his DNA at this point. Let's see how he follows up. I don't think it's going to be anything with Danny Garcia, but again, I'm always willing to give a shot. In the back of my head, I'm thinking he ain't following up shit with this. So, good match. I just need to see a follow-up for me to care going forward.
And Mariah May has only been champion for like what, a week and a half,
a couple weeks since all in,
and nothing.
She was on this show tonight. I mean, she was on the pre-show. She came out with a returning-ish Sky Blue still on crutches, and she kicked the crunch under Sky Blue and pushed her down. So whatever. I like Sky Blue. I like Sky Blue and Mariah May, but again, no interest.
All right, fair enough. All right, so that happened. Next match is for the AEW Tag Team Championships. You have Matthew and Nicholas Jackson versus Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. What were your thoughts?
Well, you can go first. I just talked a long time there. Let me catch my breath.
All right, I put in my notes the Bucks won. That was my notes.
No details of the match or anything like that. Nothing that you liked about it. Nothing like what's some criticisms about it.
My criticisms were it was a Young Bucks match.
Okay.
I'm sorry, people. Anyone that likes the Young Bucks, I don't judge. I don't yuck anyone's yum for liking a thing I don't like. I just don't like the Young Bucks. Can't stand the Young Bucks. Probably never will. But yeah, give your thoughts, sir.
I thought the match was a fine match. Not great. Good. But fine. I'll just say it was a fine match. This match had no heat.
Right.
The Young Bucks haven't really been doing anything since Revolution, since Sting's retirement match. What have they done of significance since then? Yes, the storyline with, Jack Perry and Okada, the new elite, all that, right? But that hasn't gone anywhere at all. So again, what are we doing with the Young Bucks? They sign these new contracts, and again, they are not on TV every week. I think it's like they're only like their third time or fourth time defending the tag titles. They have not been in any stories of significance. What held this back from being an all-time classic pay-per-view is stories across all 8 matches. This match had no story going into it. A little bit hard for me to care about it at the end of the day. Match was fine. You got 4 pretty damn good wrestlers in there. It's hard to have a bad match. But again, at the end of the day, I don't care. What's the follow-up to this? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? They need to really revamp that tag team division. You got tag teams there. You got great tag teams there. You're just not creating engaging stories for us to give a fuck at the end of the day. So, again, match was fine. Wasn't a bad match. If you say it was a bad match, then I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't a bad match. I just didn't care about the match. The match was fine. I just didn't care because there was no story. So, there you go.
I mean, when you think about it, the main event was the only match that had a story.
Oh, that's not true. It's not true.
So,
I mean, you got Chris Statler, Will Nightingale. You had the opener. Obviously, you set the story yourself on what happened there. With MJF and Dan Garcia. We may not love the story per se, but it's a story. That they have there for that. So,
well, let me correct myself. The main event had a more, I guess, a more
the main
continuity.
event is a long term
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
It's
long
been
term
going on for
storytelling
about
there.
a year now.
Yeah, which is insane to think about. But
yeah,
it's almost about to be a year that this
Yeah.
shit started. But next is you had the AEW International Championship. You had Will Ospreay versus Pac. Let's see. Notes I put people really love Ospreay, which I don't know why I keep pointing that out, but they love Ospreay. So I like Ospreay. I don't mind him. The match itself, I did not love it. Didn't necessarily hate it per se. It went the way I kind of thought it would go from the beginning of the match. Like as soon as the bell rung, I figured, oh, it's gonna be that kind of match. Why do I act surprised? I mean, I liked MJF and Ospreay better. I think the problem I have, or I guess the problem I had with this match mainly, and probably Ospreay. I like Ospreay when he works with talent that knows how to work, that could lead him and have a much better match. Whereas
I can't work.
Pac is essentially doing the same shit as Ospreay.
So
essentially.
define your definition of work.
I
Because
like I like
I think this match was really fucking good. But continue. I'm sorry.
I liked Osprey's match with Danielson. I liked Osprey's
Love
match
that
with
match.
MJF.
Love that match.
That's an example. Did Osprey wrestle Takeshita?
Yes. Yes,
I
they did.
I like that match too. This match again, didn't hate it, and I can tell people are gonna love it, and that's
Is
fine.
it because their styles are the same or very similar?
Yes, yes. That's again, I didn't hate it. I wasn't rolling my eyes. I'm not trying to be Jim Cornette. I'm just like, oh, okay. Again, there were some cool spots. I'm not gonna say I hated it or disliked it like altogether. Um, Pac was it? There was a spot where Pac did a Hurricane Run and DDT.
That was great.
Where or I was
Osprey
like,
sold
okay,
the shit out of
yeah, I
that.
was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like there were some cool spots. I'll leave it at that. There was some stuff I did like that I did go, oh shit. But for the most part, I'm like, this isn't my kind of match. It's not my speed. I'll just leave it at that. But what is it? Osprey did 3 hidden blades, and
Sickening.
which is crazy. And then towards the end of the match, he does a Styles clash, which after that he does his 3rd hidden blade, wins the match. So Osprey, you're still your international champion. Thoughts?
If you want to look at pure wrestling excitement, this was your match of the night. I thought this was gonna be my match of the night before until the main event, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah, I was like, "Oh, the main event was to me on another level due to story." Out of all Will Ospreay's pay per view matches this year, this is probably like I was thinking second, and I was like, you know what? I probably I this was to me this was better than MJF and Will Ospreay at All In. Not better than MJF and Will Ospreay at Dynamite. I still think that's possibly Will Ospreay's second best match of the year. In comparison to him and Bryan Danielson, that's their best match of the year. That's his best match of the year. That's possibly the match of the year if you really want to put it in consideration. But the fact that we are debating which Will Ospreay match is better than the Takeshita or the Danielson or even the Swerve match at Forbidden Door, people forgetting about that match. That just shows you how great Will Ospreay actually is. A lot of his matches are the same in a way, but damn, he does it so good. He does it. He like what he does. He does it so fucking good. So, match was fucking great. If he says your match tonight, I'm not gonna bitch and moan. Um, but man, Pac is so fucking good, man, and I'm glad he got this spot to showcase himself. Like, hey, I'm still one of the best wrestlers in the world. Hey, remember me, NXT? Hey, Neville, break orbit. Yeah, break orbit. Yeah. Gotta risk it.
Yeah.
Gotta twist it. Oh, sorry.
Mm.
Good theme song. But anyway, but yeah, like this was a stellar match, very stellar match. At the end of the day, Osprey picks up the win. Obviously, right? Pac wasn't gonna win, but you know, when you go back and look at Osprey's matches, this could be a not obviously I'm saying it's a stellar match, but this could be a forgettable one due to the fact that there wasn't really much story coming into this. There was story for the Forbidden Door match. There was story even for the Revolution match with him and Takeshita because like it was like the Don Callis family and like, hey, I'm gonna put you up against one of my guys from Don Callis. They're kind of telling that story there. The story with Danielson and Will Ospreay, the first time ever type of thing. So I think this is gonna be seen as one of his less remembered matches, but still a great match nevertheless.
All right. Next. And then afterwards, later, there was a confrontation with Osprey and Ricochet. So there you go. Next is you had a Chicago street fight. Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander. This comes from All In, where Chris Statlander won that, or not Chris Statlander. Nightingale won the match, and she got to pick
Yes.
the stipulation and blah blah blah. I liked that Nightingale or Willow came out in, I guess, more street attire and less energetic, and she looked more serious. Same thing with Chris Statlander. Um,
Chris Statlander, when I first saw her come out, I was like, she's just wearing brawn panties. Like, what is she wearing? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, then when she said, I was like, okay, it's more time. I'm like, yeah, it just looked kind of off to me. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people loved it though.
I surprisingly like this match. This match was so much fun. I was kind of getting ready to roll my eyes at this match, but I was having fun. I got lost in it. Um,
They worked their asses off in this match.
I love Willow. Statlander, I do like. She's, I'm fond of her. And it looked legit coming from these two to just beat the shit out of each other. I think if it was uh, uh, like, I'm trying to think of like an example. I don't know.
I
I'm
mean,
not
you
gonna
can
use it.
really tell that these were two friends really wanted to put on a good match, and like you can even see some instances in the match where like Willow, instead we're like talking to each other after like a big spot or whatever. Like even like that spear off the stage, you can see Willow talking to the stat immediately, like, "Hey, are you okay?" type of thing. So you can tell that they really wanted to make this match a
Right.
great match, and
Yeah.
um, to me, I may be crazy saying this, but this is up there for one of my women's matches of the year. It's up there. I really
Right.
think they did I really think they did an excellent job. Also considering the fact that they had to follow Pac and Will Ospreay, so that's usually a dead spot, and the fans were in it. They were in it for this match, and kudos to those ladies. I mean, it was a fun knockout, drag out, hardcore match. Thumbtacks were involved. They both took spots there. Like I thought it was a really, really good match. Fucking, stat, doing the splits on the thumbtacks, again, thumbtacks in
That was that was- that was kind of cool.
yeah.
Yeah, the thumbtack spots. I usually don't like thumbtacks. Not to say I liked it better here, but it was just like I'm having fun, so whatever.
I mean, I'm used to
Um,
thumbtacks. I mean, been watching fucking since 1997 with thumbtacks. So,
I don't know, just
Mick Foley taking thumbtacks or Randy Orton taking a backdrop in thumbtacks. I'm so desensitized to it. It doesn't really even matter to me for thumbtacks anymore.
I mean that was fun. But anyways, yeah, this is fun. And then going back to biting, Willow bites uh Statlander the face, so more biting.
That was like out of character for her. So, that was a great touch.
Statlander, of course, getting blood. There was a steel chain that came out where both ladies start using each other. There's a bit where did they wrap the chain around each other's hands, or were they just like
Yeah,
grabbing the
so
end?
it was kind of like a strap, like kind of like a strap match type thing, but it was with a chain. There were
Right,
two dog collars that was being used.
right. The match ends with Statlander choking out Willow, and Willow taps out. So Statlander wins the match. Again, fun match. I really did like this match, and I was not expecting
Really good, really
to
good.
to like it as much as I did. Probably because I like both ladies, and both ladies went out there and they had a story to tell. They were both ex best friends, and they both look legit. Like Willow is not really an insult; it's just pointing out the fact. She's a big girl, and Chris Statlander is fucking tall, and she's kind of muscular. So for them to go out there and just beat the air living piss out of each other, it looked good. It looked like it looked legit. I'll just keep it that way.
Where would
But
you rank this as far as your women's matches of the year?
oh, ooh.
I mean, you don't
I'm
have
a,
to say like it's number one, number two, but like just in general.
I'm gonna put it in my top 5.
Yeah, it's up there for me for sure. It was
So
really good.
it's like, see, guys, I like AEW stuff too. I'm fair. Um, Next is you had a 4-way for the Continental Championship, more titles. You had Okada, the champion, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Takeshita. This should have just been a singles match, in my opinion. Should have just been Okada and Takeshita. I think it would have been
Yeah,
an even better
I think
match.
they're saving that for like I think they're gonna save that for like Wrestle Dynasty or something like that in Tokyo.
Probably.
I think TK wants that in the Tokyo Dome, in my
Uh,
opinion.
I thought there was a lot of sloppiness in this match. And it's not because I don't like Orange Cassidy, but I got to give Mark Briscoe shit too. Like, it just seemed like the crowd was more invested in seeing Okada and Takeshita. And like you just said, they're probably going to say that for another event. But it just seemed like there were points where they had to stop the match and let Mark and Orange Cassidy do their shtick. But the crowd was obviously, they wanted to see Okada and Takeshita go at it. And again, that looked like it was by design. But wasn't crazy about this match. I can kind of tell where it was going to go. I'll just skip to the end. Okada wins with his Rainmaker on Orange Cassidy. He is still your Continental Champion.
Orange Cassidy's taking the pinfall. I was a little surprised. I thought they were going to do that to Mark Briscoe, but he is the RH champion too, so there's that. But match was okay at best. Again, it wasn't bad. There was no heat involved. Again, that is the theme of the night. There was no heat. I didn't really give a fuck. But again, was it a bad wrestling match? No, it wasn't a bad wrestling match. You can't have 4 guys of this caliber and have it be a bad wrestling match. But I was not invested, and there was no story of this match. It was just Okada defending his title. You're not gonna leave Okada off the fucking show. Okada needs to have some. Like, I'll put it to you this way. This is like Okada's run so far is not his fault. It's not even Tony Khan's fault. It was just a missed circumstance with Kenny Omega and him having diverticulitis and him being out. And he's going to be coming back because I believe they wanted to have him and Okada at fucking All In. I'm 100%. That was going to be a match at All In. You know what I mean? So, and I'm pretty sure they were still going to be feuding around this period as well. So, just the fact that we don't have that as of yet. Is Okada's just in the, he's still being prominent on TV. He's showing he has, he always had a character, but he has a character more for the American audience now, like saying the 4-letter words, the 5-letter curse words, all that stuff. So, which is entertaining, funny, haha. But there's no stories with Okada right now that is making his title reign interesting. His title reign's not very memorable or great right now. Great wrestler, he has a character, but outside of that, really nothing's really going for Okada right now. So, and this match, again, it was fine, but I didn't care about it at the end of the day.
Okada does say bitch. I guess that's his catchphrase now. But moving on. Yeah, the TBS Championship. Yeah, Mercedes Monday versus Hikaru Shida. I want to go make a PB&J sandwich before the match begins. So I think I missed like maybe 3 or 4 minutes of it. But my notes are as follows. Mercedes should never do the 3 Amigos or a Frog Splash ever again. I know she loves Eddie Guerrero. I love Eddie Guerrero. But I'm sure Justin wouldn't want to see me do a 3 Amigos or a Frog Splash.
Oh,
So that's
yeah,
number
you're not a wrestler.
well, also that would just look awful. Number 2, Shida is a 3-time women's champion. I knew she was I knew she won the women's title. I just didn't know it was 3 times.
Yep.
The fans are
in AEW history.
The fans are not really caring about this match or Mercedes. That's just the impression I got.
Well, and Shida too, right?
Yeah. Like you said, takes 2 to tango. And also there was a bit where Shida threw a kick at Mercedes, and I can't tell if she just threw a bad kick or Mercedes doesn't know how to take a kick. And then they had to redo the kick. And then Mercedes wins with the moneymaker. And afterwards, Camille comes out because the stipulation was Camille couldn't be at ringside.
Right.
So, or banned from ringside or whatever. But this to me, this is not a good match. I can't tell if I should solely put this on Mercedes or if I should put this on Shida, because Shida was doing some botching out there too. But not a very good match. This is my opinion. I mean, you talked about Okada not doing that well, but it's not his fault. I'll give you that. Okada still has talent. He can work. He can have a cohesive wrestling match. So far, what I've seen from Mercedes since she's been back has been no bueno. whether it's talking on the mic or having a wrestling match. That's just my
I
opinion.
disagree about the wrestling match part wholeheartedly.
Okay. Well, that's just my opinion. What were your thoughts on the match?
Again, I keep saying this. It was a fine match. I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good for what it was. Was it the best as far as execution? No. But I will say this. I thought the match was pretty good. Outside of that, no story. Don't give a fuck. What's the follow up? Don't know. I really think that I think there's something going on with Britt Baker and AEW. I would like to think that this was probably going to be a rematch, and we didn't get that.
Well, she got suspended, so yeah. Or no, she didn't get suspended. She just had the match.
She got suspended for All In. She was already back. So I don't know what's going on with Britt Baker. I don't know. I'll just say that I had a feeling that this was going to be a rematch here, and the rematch was going to be Camille was banned for ringside.
Am I wrong for not having an ounce of sympathy for Britt Baker?
I mean, it's your opinion. I mean, I don't really care one way or the other. I don't really care one way or the other. Like, I don't really get, oh, I feel bad for them, or I don't care. Like, I don't care, but it's like who cares? You know, if she's there, great. Hopefully she's there and, you know, she puts on good. I just care what's on TV. I really do. Fuck what's going on backstage. If we gotta talk about it, great. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't really give a two shits. It doesn't really affect the way how I feel about them. So when it comes to what's on TV. So but match was okay, fine. But no story, nothing to sink my teeth into. I think this was supposed to be Mercedes and Brie Baker anyway. And you know, Mercedes, as far as her character work, hasn't been the greatest. Her in-ring stuff, I thought her in-ring stuff has been good for the most part. You know what I mean? Nothing great or anything like not like, oh my god, like you know, oh my gosh, she's worth every penny. Nothing like that. But I thought it's been passable for the most part. But again, Sheeta, you know, she's a great in-ring women's worker, but again, I don't really care about her right now. Cause you know, you just bring it's like this. The women's division this is what's wrong with the women's division. You have your set of women that you have, right? So you got your Mercedes, you got Toni Storm, Mariah May. The only like mainstays, like I would say like the mainstay that's been there for like a couple years, week in and week out, maybe be off every now and then is Willow.
Agreed.
That's why I love Willow so much, because of the fact that she is a homegrown talent that's got herself over. She's became a champion, right? And she is that worker that's there every week. Chris Statlander, there every week, working matches, right? But when you have situations like Britt Baker injury, remember Britt Baker, she had a mini stroke. People, let's not forget about that. People forgot about that already, and they're already ragging on Britt Baker, but she had a fucking mini stroke. Are we just gonna ignore that? You know, maybe there's something going on with that. I don't know, but there, like with Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa injuries, you have like the failures. I will say, not saying failures as in their careers, but failures as far as them getting over in the women's division and making a difference. Your Sarayas, your Ruby Sohos. It all comes down to a number of things. Them not actually involving themselves, involving their characters, and Tony Khan not giving a fuck about the women's division. He has to give a fuck a little bit now because Mercedes is there, because he's paying her all this fucking money. But again, I don't know what's going on backstage. Again, I don't really give a fuck. But if it's affecting to what I see on TV, we really need to see a difference on who wants to be there and who doesn't want to be there. If you don't want to be there, leave. TK, let them go. Is that Britt Baker? Maybe. I don't know. But if it is a detriment to your women's division, which we're seeing, let those people go, get them out of there, and bring in the women that does want to work, that does want to make a difference, right? And does want to, you know, actually help out this division. So those are my thoughts about it. I ran on too long about it, but like I said, the match was fine. Didn't really care because of the no story, and I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Next, we have the AEW World Championship, Bryan Danielson versus the Scapegoat Jack Perry. Jack Perry enters the arena on a bus that says Scapegoat.
That's his signature bus. Yeah,
What was that?
that's his signature bus. Yeah, he's been using that bus for the past few pay-per-views.
All right. Comes to the ring with the Young Bucks and security guards. And then Bryan Danielson comes out, of course, to Final Countdown from Europe. So he's using that for pay-per-view. So cool. I mean, the story in this match. I mean, there was even kind of a story in this match is, Bryan Danielson saying, "I'm going to kick your fucking head off," and yada yada yada. Which he does, later in the match. This match was very overproduced. You can kind of figure what was going to happen. There was a bit in the match where the referee gets knocked out after Bryan goes for the psycho knee. The Young Bucks come out to beat up Bryan, and then Claudio and Wheeler come out to chase the Young Bucks away.
That Perry's so that like he's so one of those psycho knees where he fucking went flying. He looked like he almost went flying out of the ring. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about, but it slept pretty well.
I might. Was it the last one or the second one?
I think it was like it wasn't the last one. It was like he took like 3 of them. It may have been the first one because I think the second one did like a fucking midair spin or whatever, kind of like the Rikishi bump. But the first one, like when Bryan him, it looks like he just like ejected like a VCR tape, just ejected out. So yeah, it was a good spot.
I have it in my notes. Bryan ducks I think like a lariat from Perry, goes for the psycho knee, gets a 2 count, and then later in the night, kind of like you just said, does another psycho knee, gets a 2 count. The story that they want to build up with Jack Perry is that he's a formidable opponent, which I get. I will say, I gotta be fair. I thought Jack Perry looked good in this match. He looked decent. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna be an ass. And then towards the end of the match, Bryan's going for another psycho knee, and then Jack Perry kneels in the ring, does the Raven pose.
Yeah.
And then Bryan goes for another psycho knee, 1, 2, 3. So he's still the AEW World Champion. Before we get into the aftermath, what'd you think about the match?
Match was good. It was good. I mean, you got Bryan Danielson there. It can't be a bad match. Like, there's no way. I think this is possibly Jack Perry's best match. That shows you to the credit of Bryan Danielson. But Jack Perry, he held his own. He held his own. And he's been improving. And I've said this a couple weeks ago. Like, I've seen the improvement with Jack Perry. Character work for sure. His in ring is getting a little bit more. How should I say? Because he used to do like some unnecessary risk, not like necessarily high flying stuff, but like unnecessary risk in the ring. He seems to tone that down, and he's keeping it more structured, which I like. So he's been improving in that aspect. So I gotta give him credit. I'm not the biggest Jack Perry fan, but I have been a fan of his work over the last few months, and he's been improving. This match was really used to see if Jack Perry could be a main eventer, could be a viable person for the world title. I don't see it yet. Good match. I'm not taking anything away from, but I don't see him being that caliber as of yet. Will he get there? I'm pretty sure that he will because AEW's pushing him down our throats right now. Pretty sure he will get there. But thought this match was too long. Usually, you're the one to point out the time length in this match. I think this match was almost 30 minutes. This didn't need to go 30 minutes. This could have been easily a 20-minute match, in and out, and I think the match could have been better, well received, but didn't make the match bad or terrible. But I thought it just didn't need to go close to 30 minutes. But good match, good. And Jack Perry, he passed, not with flying colors, didn't have an A+, but but he passed with a B+. Which is a grade I will want to have if I was back in school, for sure.
Right. All right. Yeah, this match was long. I think it ended exactly at like 10-ish, like 10:02.
Yeah.
So, which I'm like, okay, so that means the main event's going to be even longer. So I got to set the time to 11 just to kind of like be safe. But so after the match, Luchasaurus comes up from behind. Danielson attacks him, and there's a stare down with Luchasaurus and Jack Perry. They were Jurassic Express, TNA
I'm
Tag
glad that they
Champion.
pointed out.
Did I say TNA? Not TNA. AEW. Jesus Christ. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just said glad that they pointed that out.
Oh, okay. No, I thought. Oh, sorry, my bad. But yeah, they pointed that out, which is cool. Continuity. And then Christian Cage comes out. Christian Cage comes out with his contract that he won at All In. Basically, it's his money in the bank. Essentially, he can cash in anytime he wants. He slowly walks to the ring, and then Jon Moxley meets him in front of the ring. And then the rest of Blackpool Combat Club gets in front of them to kind of delay the cash in. So that doesn't happen. They all get in the ring and celebrate with Brian. Claudio holds his hand up and then gives him a European uppercut. And then right behind Brian is Jon Moxley with a bag, which I'm just like, oh, they're gonna do it. Like, no, I kind of figured. I knew it was gonna be a heel turn. Like, I know there's a lot of people saying that,
I told you he was going to turn heel.
Yeah, you did. No,
I
what I'm saying, no.
said this at the All In, or not the All In, but at the All In review show. I said Moxie's going to return. He's gonna turn heel on Danielson. Now, I didn't think that he and the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club are all gonna turn. I thought he was just gonna turn on them and like he was gonna be by himself. But no, they all turned on him. And continue. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, people on Twitter, like especially like the AEW diehards, were like, if you didn't see that coming, then we all saw that coming. Like when they were all celebrating in the ring with him and being like very overly like loving and hugging him, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a heel turn here because Moxley's lately has been fucking with people in AEW with Marina Shafir and beating up people backstage and blah blah blah. So I'm like, oh, he's gonna go heel. I mean, he was already a heel, but like he's gonna beat up Danielson.
He was. I mean, he is a heel. Came back as a heel. However, they needed to tie up those loose ends with the Blackpool Combat Club. So it's like, why? What happened? Pretty much. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know why Danielson felt comfortable there. That made him look a little bit stupid. I would have been like, hey, like, you've been back for a couple of weeks. Like, how come you haven't been around us? That I would have been asking that. But no, they he kind of looked kind of a little silly there. So, but I mean, that's all baby faces too. All baby faces are naturally stupid. So,
right, too trusting.
Yeah.
And then Moxley proceeds to put a plastic bag over Danielson's head and asphyxiate him. Not literally, but the act of asphyxiating. While Pac is holding back Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta has tears in his eyes.
I mean, Pac wasn't really holding him back. I mean, he was like he was, but like I don't know. Yuta could have got through that. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I don't know why they didn't just like punch Yuta in the face, but I don't know. I don't know.
I think they're gonna try to tell a story like, hey, you have a choice, but I think I know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what they're doing, but the bag over the head. What do you think? What did you think about that?
Well, I mean, we texted. I actually texted you about it, where I was just like, "Well, did that happen?" I it proceeded to kind of tell the theme of the night, even with the main event. Only in wrestling. I'll just leave it at that. Only in
Well,
wrestling,
well,
you
well
could.
I'll help you here. This is
Well,
not the first time.
let me finish real quick, and then yeah. But let me finish. I was saying, only in wrestling you can have a guy burn down another guy's house, break into his home, and harass his baby, and then have a guy asphyxiate another guy in front of a live crowd. Only in wrestling. But continue.
Okay, so I will say this is not the first time we've seen someone use a bag, a plastic bag over someone's head to suffocate them in wrestling.
What was the first time or last time?
Well, I would say the most prominent one was 35 years ago with the Terry Funk Ric Flair feud in WCW.
Mm. All
So
right.
for the people who are saying, "Oh, wrestling, what the fuck are you doing? This is not wrestling." Terry Funk and Ric Flair did it. This is why, again, I know everyone is not versed in pro wrestling history. That's fine. That's totally cool. However, it's always good to educate yourself and ask, hey, has this happened before? I'm new to this. I haven't seen this before. Has this happened before? Instead of like, what the fuck are you doing? This happened 35 years ago. This also happened. I forget who did it. I think it happened in Smoky Mountain as well. I think the Dirty
Probably.
White Boy did it against somebody else. I forget who. But this has happened before. A lot of things in wrestling are rehash of storylines that have a twist. Kind of like with movies. Movies have some of the same storylines with a twist, right? There's a lot of times there's nothing that's really original anymore. Some things are original. I'm not saying that there's nothing that's original, but this happened over 35 years ago. So again, it's happened before. Again, I'm not saying that I loved it. You know what I mean? I personally could have gone without it. But again, this has happened before. You should not blame the one company that's doing it tonight.
All right.
You should probably go back and look at and maybe blame Terry Funk and Ric Flair. But they're not gonna get the blame because AEW is the easy one to hate on right now because they're the wrestling product that is so controversial with doing things like this and things of that nature. But it has happened before. So
Right.
we'll leave it
I
at
mean,
that.
I
My
mean, yeah.
thought,
Good.
I'm sorry, but going back for the turn itself, I thought this was great. You notice Wheeler Yuta stayed with Danielson. So Yuta will probably still be as a face. Now, again, what they're gonna do with Yuta, I don't fucking know. I don't think anything is. This is not good for Wheeler Yuta. I was gonna say that as of right now. This ain't good for Wheeler Yuta whatsoever. Because the Blackpool Comic Club was his saving grace. But remember what John Moxley said a couple weeks ago. He said, "This is not your company anymore. This is not your company anymore."
Hmm.
He is going to establish a all WWE faction.
Hmm.
Look at the people who left with them. Claudio, you got Pac, WWE, Moxley, you got Marina Shafir, WWE, NXT, still part of WWE. This is where Shane McMahon comes in, ladies and gentlemen. When is he gonna come in? I don't know. But I fully believe that this is gonna be a Shane McMahon type of situation. So there you go.
Interesting. All right. And then the crowd chanting, "This is murder."
That was hilarious, by the way.
That was hilarious. Like, I like how the crowd was just self-aware. Like, is somebody actually getting murdered in the ring? Oh
Yeah.
man. All right. So, anyways, main event time. Main event time. Or technically, it wasn't a main event because it wasn't part of the show. So that was actually the main event, what just happened. So this was a non-sanctioned wrestling match. You have a lights out steel cage match. So a hat on a hat with Swerve Strickland and Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page. What it feels weird to nitpick of all the things in this match. Nitpick this one thing. I would have liked it better, maybe to add a little bit of realism to it, if they didn't come out to music. You know what I mean? Like I think it would have made more sense because this is supposed to be a non-sanctioned match. Like AEW technically doesn't have anything to do with this match.
True, true. I
So
mean,
Tony,
I totally get it. I totally get it. Totally understand it. Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho both came out to fucking music in 2008. So
again, I don't like when WWE does certain things either that AEW does. So I'm being fair too. So I always like when there's a little bit of realism to a lot of these, like especially when it's a non-sanctioned match. Like because the company can be like, we don't have anything to do with this. Whatever you
yeah,
guys
I
do
mean,
is
then at that point we're gonna be nitpicking anything. Oh man, how come they're doing work punches? How come they're not really punching each other if this is
what
unsanctioned? And
I'm not trying to be that nitpicky. I'm just
well,
trying to be nitpicky in a sense where it's just like Tony Khan can be like, since this doesn't have anything to do with us, we can't let you use our licensed music. Again, this is just me. This is just me nitpicking like I always do. Of all the things to nitpick in this match is the one thing I'm gonna nitpick about. But anyways, I will continue. Hangman comes out with pyro. I don't know why he has pyro in a non-sanctioned match. And then the match starts with Swerve attacking Page before the cage lowers. And then there's a bit where Page gets Swerve in the corner to try to have the cage lower on him, or
yeah,
probably even both of them.
trying to
Uh,
decapitate them, trying to kill them.
trying to kind of kill him. Might as well just pull out an Uzi while you're at it. Nana comes in and pushes them both back in the ring. Nana was funny. Nana's always great, but Nana was funny in this. He's like, "See what happens when you mess with a man's property? You stupid idiot!" Like he's just yelling at Paige. I think it's funny.
But I know we didn't have a podcast on Wednesday, and we would have talked about this. But what do you think about the angle with Hangman burning down Schwarb's childhood home?
I'll say this: I didn't see it coming because I know earlier in the day there was that clip of Swerve saying that he bought his old childhood home. I'm like, oh, that's
Right.
cool. And then later in the night, because obviously I didn't watch Dynamite, but I did see the clip of Paige burning down his home, which I'm like, oh, that's unique. Not even in like a smart ass or condescending way. I'm like, oh,
Right.
that's a nice way to kind of add something, add fuel to the fire, pun intended, to this blood feud. Um, and also spoilers, it wasn't really Swerve's childhood home. It was just a home purchased to burn down.
A lot of people were like, he really burned down his childhood. Guys, that would have been arson.
Right.
The
Even
fuck?
Tony Khan was like, he's like, I gotta find a way to keep Paige out of jail. Um, I think somebody on Twitter they said something kind of funny where they're like he burned down the wrong house, and I just kind of put it'd be funny if on the pay-per-view Swerve goes, "You burned down the wrong house, you dumbass." To me, I don't know, that would have been funny to me. But yeah. Uh, so I just kind of put, why didn't they just do another death match since this was kind of the angle in this match?
You think like I'll say this: the Texas Death Match. I this match is gonna be memorable for one reason or another, but I think that Texas Death Match went a step or two above what we saw tonight,
Right.
and not say that this match, because I love both matches. I love shit like this. Like I love feeling uncomfortable watching wrestling matches and feuds, and I'm gonna say this: this is AEW's best feud. I think this is AEW's best all time feud.
Consistent.
Like it's so fucking good. Like yeah, CM Punk and MJF, great. that's second place for me, right? If you say that's your first place, hey, I'm not gonna argue with you over it. But I love this feud just because of it wasn't personal at first, then it became personal, and it just keeps rising above and above and above and above and above to where that you see, Swerve invading, Hangman's home, and now you're seeing, Hangman burning down Swerve's house. So, the personalness of this feud, I think it's leaps and bounds above any feud in AEW history. But this match though tonight, loved it. Felt very uncomfortable. There were some spots I could have done without,
Right.
including things with the center block, vertebrae on the center block, a power bomb. That power bomb on the center block that Swerve took was fucking you know what I mean?
Like Page like missing the center block but still getting scraped on his back. That
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
I actually scraped my arm on a cinder block. That fucking hurts. So
Yeah.
when
So I can't imagine, like, man, like I wouldn't be surprised because I was thinking this match, like, man, like man, like I don't know how these guys are gonna be the like. I don't see how some of these guys don't get like something permanent injured or something wrong with them going forward in
Yep.
life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, like this is rough. Regardless, though, again, I think the Texas Death Match is a more memorable match to me, the better match. It was a death match. That's what it literally was. You had glass. You had obviously barbed wire. You had the hangman, drinking the blood and spraying the blood. I thought he was gonna do a step up from that, but he didn't do anything like that tonight. This match, although still great, this is still memorable too as well. Needle in his cheek through his mouth. Hangman took the grill out. That last chair shot.
Oh. Can I say one thing?
Oh my god, man! I haven't seen a chair shot like that since ECW. I'll put it to you like that.
Can I say one thing about that ending?
Yeah.
I liked it because it made sense for the match. Because I think if it was just like they won doing a finisher,
And they
it's
kept
like,
kicking
well,
out too.
it's
So
like, well, it's like, okay, this is supposed to be a death match, pun intended, and you win with a wrestling finisher. Like, wouldn't it make more sense since the blood feud is that the other guy loses because he literally can't stand up?
yeah.
And so Paige, like you said, to kind of flash forward, um, puts what is it like Novocaine or something in Swerve's mouth, and then
No, it
hits
wasn't.
him.
It wasn't. I don't think it was Novocaine. I
Wait,
don't know.
I have it right here.
It
I
was
have it
a
right here.
needle. It was a
It was a
needle. Just a
hyper
fucking syringe.
hyperdermic needle. Puts it in Swerve's mouth. I noticed that they made sure to pull back on the chair shot so that way you didn't actually see him getting hit in the head with a chair. And then the referee, ends the match because Swerve just he's not going to get up from that.
Did
I
you see
thought
the chair? Did you see how the chair was bent and like it was broken?
Zanpire in the chat saying it was just a needle, no fluid. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
which
just.
which makes sense because they're not going to go that far. I figured, but um,
I
let me.
thought. You know why I thought he was gonna do at first.
Hmm.
I thought he was going to like jam a needle him and draw blood.
Boy.
And redo the spot, like put blood all over his face, put it in his mouth and all that shit. That's what I thought was gonna happen. I was like, no, ain't no fucking way Swerve was gonna fucking do this. My expectation was thank God Lord. But it was still a sick spot, like very sick.
So let me point out some other things on my notes. Swerve does a vertebrae. Was it a vertebraker or a gory special they
Vertebreaker.
did?
Yep,
Vertebraker.
Gregory Helms or Vertebreaker.
Okay, vertebraker. On the center block, but missed it, but still scraped the back of
It
Adam
still
Page. That hurt.
it still
Again,
did its job. It still did its job.
that made me win. Of all the things in this match, that made me win. So I went, ugh.
That made me wince, but that power bomb that Schwarb took, I was like, oh my god! I said, oh my. I don't say oh my god much when I'm watching
Ugh.
wrestling, But that made me. I was like, oh my god, like that was fucking
Paige
unnecessary.
Paige pulls out burnt wood from Swerve's house.
Great,
Swerve
great,
then
great piece of storytelling there.
Swerve then stabs him with it. Starts crying while he holds it. Paige low blows him.
People were complaining about the. Oh my god, he's using a fucking, a fucking spike to stab Swerve in the face. Again, this happened. This happened in wrestling history before.
Yeah.
You know, you fucking Magnum TA and fucking Tully Blanchard at one of the fucking Starcades. I think it was like Starcade 85. You know, they used a piece of wood to like, to stab him in the fucking eye. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there you go. But anyway, continue.
And then Paige powerbomb Swerve on a cinder block or on the cinder block, which again I watched that and I went, oh, 2 count.
That was bad, man.
House call from Swerve, 2 count. Swerve climbs on top of the cage. Paige follows him. Powerbomb Swerve off, or no, powerbomb Swerve does a dead eye, 2 count. So they're trading 2 counts. And then again, like we just mentioned, Paige pulls out a hypodermic needle with no liquid. It was just a needle, just added for effect. And then hits Swerve Jesus Christ, I can't talk. He hits Swerve in the head with a chair. They make sure to pull the camera back. Before that, Paige was yelling at Swerve, saying, "I'm gonna make you beg. I want you to beg for mercy." And Swerve is just laughing at him, like no, like pretty much like no, fuck you. But yeah, at the end of the match is Swerve gets hit in the head with a steel chair, and the referee decides to stop the match. There was a bit in the match I didn't like. Of all the things I didn't like, there was a bit in the match with the referee where the ref is trying to stop Paige from using a steel chair, but he very conveniently positions himself so Swerve can do a buckshot lariat, which he kind of
Yeah,
botched.
that was kind of sloppy. Well, before that, I was gonna say, I said I think Swerve may have came out of his match concussed, but yeah, he's definitely concussed. But I think before that, even before the charge, he seemed a little loopy to me. I don't know how you felt about that.
All I know is that he needs a month off.
Yeah, man.
Take him off the show. I don't want to see him back on Wednesday and be like, "Yeah, man, I'm here. Paige can't take me out." It's like, no, you need to be off the show for a month, dude. Like you like probably die in that match. There's been multiple felony accounts on this whole wrestling show alone. So, but so that was the end of the match. Obviously you liked it.
Yeah,
You said you liked it.
it's great, really great. I like I said, I don't know if it's better than that Texas Death Match.
Right.
As far as like shock factor, I think that had a little bit more shock factor for matches like this and feuds like this. Like that's like one of the big things for me. I'm like, yeah, the shock factor, but I think this one effectively told the story of the feud more, and plus they had a year to really build this up for this. But at the end of the day, this is on a sanction match. This does not help Paige go for the title. This is an unsanctioned match. I wonder if we still get another match out of this, one more match out of this.
I mean, how far can you go?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they can do. I don't know. This should be the end of the feud, but again, I think this is gonna be their Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens fight forever.
I mean,
I really think that's what they're gonna end up doing. Probably not like immediately, but like
right.
maybe like 8 months down the road or a year down the road, maybe 2 years down the road, they rekindle the feud. So which
I
I
mean, you're
which I won't mind.
you're gonna have them come out with like Uzis and just shoot each other
I
and
mean,
see who dies first. Like
whatever.
Jesus
I
Christ.
mean, you know what? You know how pro wrestling works sometimes.
Uh,
And we're gonna be like, oh my god, this is stupid. But this is how pro wrestling works. Who knows? They may end up being a tag team. They hate it.
I
They hate
wouldn't
it.
doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah, they may end up being a tag team and go up to tag team titles and win the tag team titles together. And the fans will eat it up.
I mean, it'll be like the scene in Anchorman where Vince Vaughn almost drops Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Like Paige can be like, You know, I hate like with every bone in my body, I hate you. But god damn it, I respect you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
They're gonna be besties. They're gonna be besties. I can already tell.
I don't see now. If I see that, by the end of the year, I'm like, okay, that's fucking stupid. But if this is in the middle of 2025 and they need something for this fucking new faction, whatever this new faction is that Moxley's gonna be leading with possibly Shane McMahon versus AEW, Blood and Guts. God damn, man. God damn, man. Don't make me be a fucking long term booker, man. God
I mean,
damn,
you're
man.
booking this shit better than Tony Khan.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I'll just say this: he put on a damn good show tonight. I have no Tony Khan jokes.
All right. So you want to know what I thought of the match?
Sure.
Okay. I, Drew Yari of Sound Mind, admit I enjoyed this match. I had fun with this match. It was a car crash from beginning, middle, end. I had fun with it. I like hardcore wrestling. You know, I liked hardcore wrestling back in the day. Well, not crazy about all the hardcore wrestling nowadays because it feels a little bit too like the way AEW tries to do hardcore deathmatch wrestling. It feels too polished, feels too clean. This match was not clean. This match was the opposite. This match was two guys that should probably be in jail. One should be
I
dead. One
will
should be
say
in
this:
jail.
you didn't like their Texas Death Match, and that one was more grungy than this match. Way more grungy.
This had more of a story.
Okay.
That
Fair.
just seemed kind of randomly put together. Like this had more of a story.
They had a story going into it because again, what started all this was obviously Swerve turned heel. He invaded Hangman's home.
Right.
And that's where the finger pain came from and the staple in the face and all that stuff. So there was a story. Now again, there's more story now because we're a year later. Of course, there's more story. But yeah, I digress.
Right. I would have liked better if a death match was the final match and not the first big match. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed this match. Was it perfect? Was it frustrating sometimes to watch? Did it make me wince? Uh, yes. Am I going to remember it? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Would I even say and would I go as far as to say it might be in my top 10 or top 5? Definitely not top 5. I would say top 10, top 15.
Yeah,
Fair.
I don't know if I get to top five. I gotta see how the rest of the year. I mean, we still got essentially 4 months left in the year, so I don't know. We'll see.
By the end of the year, are we gonna say, "Hey, remember that one time when Paige and Swerve tried to kill each other
I
again?"
don't think this is my match of the year, though. Definitely not this won't be my match of the year, but this will be like up there when we talk about, hey, what are some of the matches of the year? This is in the conversation for sure.
I mean, it's fair to say it'll definitely be the most memorable match.
No, no
As
way.
as far as like not wrestling goes, but I would say like things that happen in it that are memorable.
Yeah, it's top three for that. You
Okay.
can't you can't take you can't take anything away from the fucking Bloodline Rules match in Mania.
Okay. No, you're right.
Period.
Because that's my match. That's my match of the year too.
That
That's my match
period. You
so
can't
far.
take anything away from as far as how memorable that match is. That's a fucking all time wrestling moment right there that happened at Mania. So
Exactly. But I enjoyed this match. I had fun. I had a lot of fun watching this match. I knew what I was in for. Um, the whole, the fact that it was a steel cage match and it was lights out. I'm like, it's kind of like adding a hat on a hat. But again, nitpicking. But overall, I had fun. Um, that's all I'm gonna leave it at. But
yeah, sure.
that was the end of the show. That was all in 2024. People, thank you all for joining us. It's a little bit past midnight. It's 1 in the morning for anyone living out in East. But Justin, what would be your star rating or whatever for this
So
whole show?
out of 10, for this show, to me, this could go down as AEW's best pay per view of the year. I'm giving this. I, I give it a little bit more than 8.5, but it's not a 9 either. It's like an 8.75. So 8 3/4. Like how Jay Meltzer has those 3/4 in the star ratings. I like that's where I'm probably at. Like this was a really good show. Even the what really made it that score for me was the matches that had heat, and obviously Pac and Will Ospreay, because I thought that was an incredible match too as well. But the matches that didn't have heat in it, it didn't like Mercedes and Sheeta, the Young Bucks match. Like I didn't care about those matches, but I didn't like they weren't bad matches. I'm like, okay, this is all right. You know what I mean? This, pretty much that, but I wasn't emotionally invested. But the matches I were emotionally invested in, they delivered and then some. So that'll be my rate. 8.75. Really, really good show.
Uh, I gave All In a D, so I'm gonna give All Out a B. Just a solid B. The good stuff was good, the bad stuff was bad. I'll just leave it like that. What was your favorite match of the night? What was your least favorite match of the night?
Main event, favorite match. I mean, it was incredible. It was a spectacle. Least favorite match. Again, not a bad match, but I'll probably go with the 4-way. I'll probably go with the 4-way. It's either that or the tag team title match, but I'm gonna go with the 4-way just because like it, it really didn't really serve a major. That match, that 4-way was a dynamite match. We could have done without that match, but again, you got to have Okada on the show, so I get why it happened. But realistically, if we were to remove this match, the pay per view could have been a 9 for me. So
Right. My favorite. Oh man, I really liked. I mean, I know I just said I enjoyed the main event. I really like the women's street fight though. I like the women's street fight a little bit better. So I'm gonna go with that. My least favorite. The Fatal 4-Way again, like you just said, should have been. It probably just could have been on Dynamite. Could have been like the main event of Collision,
yeah, something
essentially.
right.
So it didn't need to be on this show. I get why you needed this match because you need to get Okada on and you want to tease Okada and Takeshita, but you know, I don't know. It probably just should have been singles match with Takeshita and Okada, but I get why it
Right.
wasn't. But yeah, those are our picks. Justin, thank you for staying on. I know it's
Oh
past
man,
midnight.
I mean, it was good. Very, very, very damn good review, man. I hope everyone enjoyed here. Even the new folks here, if you're new, man, this is what we do every Wednesday. Every Wednesday after every pay per view as well. Join us here. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. right after Dynamite, and follow Drew on YouTube as well. Subscribe to him. Putting up new
Yes, sir.
content, every so often. So yeah, we're live streaming on YouTube right now. So if you want to join us over there too, be in the chat. You're more welcome to stop by over there and say hello. So
Yes, sir. Like the man just said, go to YouTube. Just type in Drew Yari or Drew Yari Experience, what have you.
or you put the
And
link in the. I'm pretty sure we can get the link in the chat here too. So
oh, let me share it to social media, but I will do that as well. So give me 1 second while I try to talk at the same time. Yeah, go to Drew Yari Experience on YouTube. Like the man just mentioned here, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Time. We are up here every Wednesdays after Dynamite to talk wrestling, whether it be WWE, AEW, some news. That's our show. We've been doing this for a while. The show itself is 6 years old. It'll be 7 in January. Justin has been a part of this show for 2 years, 2 years strong,
oh yeah.
and couldn't do this without him. I'm telling that all the time because I mean it. I couldn't do this without him. So, um, let's see. And then of course pay-per-views. We've been doing pay-per-view post shows for the past actually since SummerSlam. So we're doing pay-per-view post shows the day it happens. Whether it's WWE and now is AEW. Even though we went a little bit late, but We got to get,
It's Tony Khan for you. But really looking at it, though, WWE, they do 5 matches now, 3-hour shows. This had 8 matches, 4 hours. So I think that evens out.
yeah, I'm not complaining. I had a lot of fun doing this show. I was really looking forward to just talking about the main event. But there's that. There's the experience, and also if you want to listen to it on audio form, find me on Spreaker, find me on Spotify, or find us on Spreaker, find us on Spotify, on iTunes as well. Number 242 in the top 250 of a wrestling podcast on iTunes. Listen in Great Britain. So 242 people, you got it. No, we're in the top 250. So let's get those numbers up in Brazil or Norway. I don't know. Wherever you're at, people. If you're in Norway, we love you unconditionally. So that's enough about the experience. Other shows I do a show with Ruben Prime called Culture Attack, where we attack the culture. We talk about pop culture, movies, TV shows, sometimes wrestling, but for the most part, we like to keep it a entertainment-based show. And hopefully, I think we're doing one. Well, it's already tomorrow, so we're doing one later today, hopefully. Just in case nothing happens, knock on wood. And little RJ the Brooklyn Savage, me and him do a show. We just renamed our show. It's now called Friendly Neighborhood Marks, which not a weekly show like the show I do with Ruben. It is we just do it every other week. And that's, again, another show like entertainment, because me and RJ like comic book movies, comic books. We also like wrestling. So every now and then we'll spring on some wrestling on the show. Y'all know RJ here. Y'all know Ruben here. And yeah, shout out to everybody who supports the show. Shout out to Mish from Wrestling Soup who gave us a platform to do the show. Thank you, Mish. And just shout out to everybody who are friends of ours and who supports us and puts the word out there. And of course, gotta mention it again. Go to YouTube, subscribe, get those numbers up. Justin, tell them everything there is to know about Spinebuster Tees.
So before I do that, it is about Spinebuster Tees. I almost had a signing set for tomorrow. Fell through, but I would just say this. I want you to take one guess on who it could have been. It's a tag team. I'll put it to you that way.
Is it a well-known team?
Yes, very much.
Are they WWF, WCW? Who are they?
TNA.
Motor City Machine Guns?
No. But they wrestle LAX. I almost had Hernandez and Homicide. They're in town. Hernandez lives here, but almost had him. Fell through, but I could have him at the end of the year. So crossing my fingers on that. So that's exclusive here. But Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. Follow me on Spinebuster Tees on Instagram as well. Spinebustertees.com. Get yourself a t-shirt. If you can't visit me at my shop in San Antonio, Texas, I have a red t-shirts online that I designed myself. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Have great wrestling shirts like the Just Enjoy Wrestling t-shirt, the Iron Pro Wrestling t-shirt, the Weapons of Pro Wrestling t-shirt. Also have the Match Types of Pro Wrestling t-shirt. A lot of designs on my website. Get shipped out to you. Takes about a week and a half to get there to you, to your home. You'll love it. On spinebustertees.com. Spinebuster Tees on Instagram. Follow me there. Always posting new stuff. Always getting new things in my shop. Whether it's t-shirts, Funko Pops, action figures, trading cards, a lot of different stuff. Check it out. And you can come visit me at Spinebuster Tees at Wonderland of the Americas in San Antonio, Texas. Again, for everything that I did mention there. You don't want to, if you're in San Antonio, Texas, and you don't visit me and you're a pro wrestling fan, are you really a pro wrestling fan at the end of the day? So come visit me at the Wonderland of the Americas inside Crossroads Mall. Well, it's called Crossroads Mall, but anyway. You guys don't care if you're not from San Antonio. But anyway, Spinebuster Tees on Instagram, Spinebuster Tees at the Wonderland of the Americas, and spinebustertees.com.
Yes, sir, Bob. All right, peeps.
I'm also one follower. Sorry, but I'm one follower away from 1,700 on Instagram as well. So actually, no, I have 1,700 now. No, I just checked right now. So you can be 1,701 if you like. So check me out on Instagram, Spinebuster Tees.
Oh, congrats, man. All right, people, we are done for the night. I'll man, it's already past midnight, so I gotta get ready for work tomorrow. But I will more than
Great
likely
show,
edit
though.
the. What was that?
It was a great show tonight, though. Great review.
Oh, of course, appreciate it, man. Again, can't do this without you, man. But yeah, I will more than likely edit this show tomorrow to put it up because it is getting late in the night. So yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, we'll see you guys Wednesday, same time, same channel. And what else can I say but peace out? So peace out, guys.
Have a good one. Peace.